Welcome into the Jordy Culotta Show. Wave your hand out there, baby!
Shout out to the show.
She puts the pinky into the nostril. Man, look at that.
Healthy competition, there's nothing like it.
Y'all grow up. The line's wrapped around the stadium. Different strengths. I just lost a tooth.
It's going to be fun.
You know, we might have a story.
I love what you're doing.
Ogeron wants to take us fishing this afternoon.
Sharif, you play for the bad boys of the SEC, man. We don't apologize to anybody.
A lot of people are saying you're going to be wearing number 7.
I don't really know. I want to.
See, look crazy, Bill. Good feet on the old man.
Definitely come back. I love.
We'll be right back with the Jordy Culotta Show. Welcome into a Monday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show. As always, we are built by RMB Builders. Rhett Bourgeois and his crew over at RMB. Get in touch with them, rmb-builders.com, or on Instagram at RMB Builders. It is a tournament Monday here in Baton Rouge after a soggy, lightning-striking weekend as LSU got hot and finds themselves in the championship of the regional. They will face Oregon State. They will face Oregon State today at 1 o'clock.
Big baseball guy.
Hey,
who's going to start?
Inside information on this show. I know where you go to get your inside info. Mic'd up. Who told you about the starting pitcher on Friday?
I like how to look at you to double check. You say Oklahoma?
Oklahoma.
Katie is back.
Hey.
Tan from her vacation. How was it?
It was fabulous.
New shoes?
I've had them.
Okay.
You just haven't
Oh,
noticed.
yeah. She wore those like last week.
Okay.
God.
That's when he was
She
out.
wasn't here last week, Stu.
Yeah,
2 weeks
the week
ago.
before, the week
Lloyd
before.
is here. Stewie is here. Live on this Monday is LSU, a weekend at the box. The box was popping yesterday. I was there for the first 3 innings. I did not make it
That's all you needed to see.
through Hurricane Alex that
All right, I'm
came
out.
through, bro. I mean, Hurricane Alec box that came through there.
It was Hurricane
I
Thatcher.
wouldn't believe it if he would have stayed. If you said
No
he stayed
chance.
to wait.
He
there's
stayed
no
longer than I
way.
thought.
Yeah, I did. I mean, for my
What'd
money,
you,
I did.
after the rain delay?
He was
you
there
said?
during the rain delay still. I was like, oh, I
you
thought you'd
were.
have skated.
For how
Yeah,
long?
but
Like
I mean,
20
I was just
minutes?
looking for Jay.
Yeah.
He was looking for a way
Jay
out.
was still running around the park.
He was at the gymnastics facility.
Yeah, he was the whole time. People thought it was a gymnastics meet. But before we
Rain.
cut it off, I mean, that was as good of an environment. I mean, man, the people that were flooding in there, the environment that they were creating from a home field advantage. And then once we got back to the house after the 3-hour delay, I even thought the people that stayed, man, that place was electric.
They
I mean,
came back. People filed
they
back
did.
in.
Yeah.
Like I waited it out, just sat in the corridors, whatever. Maybe snuck into the stadium club. Who knows? But the people that everybody filed back in, and by like the 6th, 7th inning, it was full again.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable how kind of like wild it got for the 7th, 8th, and 9th, and they were kind of willing the team to victory. It felt like a little
Yeah,
bit.
that
It
was
was
cool.
whether it be cheering Thatcher on or just kind of willing the offense to turn it on. It was for what happened, and everybody that's kind of been dragged through the ringer from like an LSU fan perspective. There's a reason they have to come back. You're like, what are we gonna do? And so for them to file back in, people were bloodthirsty for LSU baseball. So it was awesome to see people leave and come back, because once you're out the gate, it's so easy to stay at home.
Oh, man.
But people wanted to be there.
Not only stay out, once you're outside, it's easy to leave. Like, once you're outside during weather like that, I mean, there was a 10-minute window there, bro, where it was like stuff was flying around. I mean, chairs were
Seek
flying.
shelter.
I mean, it
Yeah.
was a dangerous environment there for a minute. And
Well, the tarp came up, right? So I
Oh, it
figured
was-
that was going
Tarp
to
came
cause
up, there was like
problems.
debris going across
and
the
out
field.
of nowhere. I mean,
Yeah.
it was bright skies, sun shining into like nighttime and a Category 4 hurricane.
I
It
know.
felt like. I mean, there were people looking around like, "Are we good?" You know, like I mean,
that's so scary.
It was, man.
It's
I
a
mean, like this
scary
old guy that I was walking out with. I mean, his hat flew off his head.
Oh,
his
no.
wife's like chasing the hat in the park. I'm like, "Jordan, go get the hat for the guy, man." I'm like, "But watch your back, bro." I mean, it was just
Grab a sandbag.
right. I mean, it was shady for a minute, man. But incredible response by LSU. 5 home runs yesterday, and it was the who's who that was smacking them. Dylan Cruz got it going, and he crushed that 2-run shot to give LSU some life after the delay. And then once he got the party going, I think Braden Joubert said it last night in the postgame, you know, hitting is contagious, right? Like once the bat started to work, LSU got going, man. And once they got going, they started to smash the ball. And that was great to see for this time of the year, for this lineup to start catching some life. But more importantly, up to this point, the bullpen and the pitching staff, and most notably what Thatcher Hurd did yesterday, I think could be the point that you look at if LSU is able to cross the finish line on this, you know, this championship run, that you look at and say, man, Hurd getting it right that last weekend of the regular season going into the postseason was such a big story for him. The way he was throwing that curveball yesterday, watching it on ESPN Plus and listening to Ben McDonald break down. I mean, McDonald, he was
Had a farm.
He was at his best, man. I mean, he was like, "Where I'm from, we put a worm on the end of those hooks." I mean, it was just like, I mean, just like the way he was like buckling the knees on these guys. I mean, it was like Little League baseball. And McDonald said it. And I look, man, you know, in Ben we trust, and Big Ben we trust down here. A lot what he says I believe to be the Bible of baseball. And he said what LSU was doing, they were doing to the best offense in college baseball over the last month and a half, 2 months. You think about that and say that out loud. LSU was playing really good offensive baseball during that time stretch. I mean, at times they were bludgeoning people and wondering, you were kind of like, they can't be a better offense than this around the country, right? Well, then Oregon State comes into Alec Box on, you know, a regional weekend, puts 18 up in their first game, allowed 18, where they're smacking the ball all over the place. And, you know, they have this electric lineup where you can sense they can get going at any moment. I still think the most impressive home run that I saw yesterday, even, you know, Travinsky's that I don't even know if it's landed yet, Beloso, who he just golfs one out of there, Joubert dead center, was the kid from Oregon State that knocked it over the eye line, the black tarp in center field.
Batter's eye.
I'm wondering who the list has got to be short of people that have hit it over that. I mean, it's got to be Cruz and, I mean, like some of the usual suspects, but I've not seen too many people hit the ball.
I think Tank's hit one over this year, and if anybody else would join that list, it'd be Travinsky if you ever hit one to dead center that has that type of power. But the wind was blowing dead out.
Fine.
But it was launched.
I mean,
it was gone. It was gone in
a
any park you play in.
Bomb.
Yeah.
I mean, that thing was a bomb.
Oppenheimer.
I mean, Travinsky's, you knew it right when it came on. I mean, he knew it right when he came off the bat. That thing, it looked like it hit the football facility. I mean, like the guy that was standing on the top row, when he looked at it leave, I mean, he was like still looking up, watching it go. I mean, that thing was... They were hitting bombs yesterday, man.
Even Beloso got in on the action right after, which was like awesome to see him like touch one and that left the park immediately. The place was just on tilt.
It was.
As soon as Cruz left, like you said, because it wasn't a manufacture runs game. It was we're gonna have to hit solo shots. There wasn't many people getting on base. It was, well, I say that whenever they had back-to-back innings with bases loaded and they don't get anybody home, they leave 8 in scoring position in 2 innings. And that's when you could start. You almost needed the rain delay.
Both times was Tommy White, too.
No, and he chased one that was at his eyes.
Chased 2.
Yeah, he just wanted to get on the action, dude. He wanted to get in there.
He needs to bounce back today.
He just saw everybody around him getting
Absolutely.
hot. He was like, let me play this game.
Absolutely. I mean, it was one of those days, man. I mean, you know, everybody was trying to get in on the action. That was where it's from. But I expect White to bounce back today, both defensively and offensively. I thought he had a rough.
I think he was just pressing.
He wanted, Sunday.
Like I said, he wanted to get in with everybody. That was when you're in the dugout and you see 6 people leave the park, and you're like, I could do that too. It would be, you know, everybody's around you having fun. Like, that's peer pressure almost to a sense, and I expect him to have a massive game today.
So today, 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
The scheduled start. I know that there's some weather that is in the area that could possibly affect this. But
that could be your lane, dude.
These weather
baseball insider, weather guy.
I mean, we need to get Caparato on the phone.
I was wondering about this morning because I was listening to him talk about possible weather again coming in. And I thought,
thinking with the heat and humidity again in today's forecast.
Not only is he in bed with the Catholic schools and the schools here around the area.
Phrasing.
He's in bed now with the NCAA.
Exactly right.
God, man.
We're on to you, Steve.
I mean, dude, tap out. For God's sake.
We were waking up.
Enjoy some baseball.
Waking up with the Monday muggies.
30% of rain all day.
That's not bad. 30%.
You should turn your text, like your clicker on, so people can hear you text.
What? So 1 o'clock and then 30%. But the lightning has been the problem.
That's the problem.
And that's what's the range?
I don't. Who?
Somebody
I think it's like 10 miles.
Somebody told me it was 10. Yeah, 10 miles.
I think it's 10 miles because
10
yesterday
miles.
somebody posted a picture of the radar and it was like 8.2 miles away.
They were saying it was in Plaquemine.
That's so weird to do.
And I don't think Plaquemine lightning is going to affect Alex Bach's
No, but it's a
gameplay.
safety thing, obviously.
No,
but
I mean,
it
it just takes one.
What's the chance?
Yeah.
I mean,
Like, you don't want to
Come on.
there was that Sunday in '94 when we didn't think that Plaquemine lightning mattered, and
I
the kid
mean,
got,
exactly.
the spikes blown off.
I was there when the kid was struck by lightning.
Exactly what that means. How
Remember
fast
where
that
you
is,
were,
right?
2023.
LSU was making a great run, but then the
Can't
lightning
you
bolt.
track how far away it is about the thunder claps in between, and you count the number of seconds and the
I think
lightning?
that's an
It's
old
something
wives'
like
tale.
that. Is that not right?
Yeah, I
That's
don't
not
know,
true.
Katie.
I mean, people do it. I
not
believe,
Indian.
I've heard that, but
Yeah.
I don't know if that's. I mean, if that's all it takes to get into school, then I'd be a meteorologist. Just wait. 1, 2, 3. It's 4 miles away.
That's what they did.
Yeah.
10 miles away,
Yeah.
guys. We got
I read that if your hair starts standing up, then that means you're about to get struck by lightning.
Oh, all right. Cool.
Isn't that weird?
I don't believe that.
Yeah.
Static electricity.
Yeah. Or
I guess.
you could just have a
It
lot of
does come
static
from-
electricity in
yeah.
your body.
Yeah.
Does
But
come from
how
the
much
ground.
time do you have when it starts sticking up?
None.
To, take
0.
cover, right?
What's the speed of light?
Because they're like, run if your hair sticks up. I'm like,
Where?
I'll be looking around first. Like,
Where am I going to
What if
run?
you're standing next to him, like,
I know exactly. Everybody runs
It's like
from
touching
you.
the orb. You know?
Yes.
what's wrong? Nothing.
Complete the circuit.
People just start running. Like, I guess I'm running too.
Michael Anderson, who is the custom shoe guy here, he's at bootupcustoms_ on Twitter, is going to be through here at 8 a.m. this morning. He's been doing some custom design cleats for all the fellas on the LSU baseball team, including Cruz and
Lightning?
Skeens.
Was that lightning?
Was it lightning?
No, it was the damn door. It was the metal door. Right?
Yeah, I think so.
What if I just started running?
But nobody walked in.
So Skeens gets the start on Friday. Of course, if you were listening to the show, you already knew that on Friday, as we spun on a dime Friday just before first pitch, and just had a gut feeling. Really, just kind of felt it that Skeens was going to get the start, and lo and behold, Skeens goes 9 innings, tallied 12 strikeouts versus Tulane. LSU needed him.
That's
That's
what was scary.
That was the most nerve-wracking part of the weekend, was that Skeens got the start and they had to have him.
All 124 pitches. His last two both registered at 101.
Could you imagine if Jay Johnson would have done what the mouth breathers wanted him to do?
And had to only pitch
and
Skeens
started
4
Hurd
innings. Yeah.
on Friday, and had saved Skeens for the 65 pitches, 70 pitches that Floyd got to throw.
He
on
got 3 innings
Sunday,
from him.
and got 3 innings from him. What would the mouth breathers be doing?
So I told y'all not to throw
And
Skeens.
I mean, why didn't we just throw him when the weather was
Should have
good?
thrown him on Friday.
Yeah, he's a Friday night guy.
I was listening to that old drama king, the Culotta show, and he's saying they should have thrown Skeens. I agree with him. I'm telling you,
I hate the guy, but shit.
Could you imagine if
He was
Skeens
right.
was on the shelf after 3 innings
Jeez.
in a regional
Oh, they'd
where
be
you
cla-
got to
well,
face
they'd be
that
cla-
offense?
They'd be clamoring to throw him today.
Or they'd be asking for him to hit.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, they would go so far down the rabbit hole. But believe it or not, the head coach of the LSU baseball team might be more tapped in than you believe. Like, he might have a good pulse of the team.
Oh.
He might know what to do.
So you mean he gets paid to do what he
gets,
does?
yeah, he thinks about it 24/7. You think about it 1 hour a day. He thinks about it all day.
1 hour
So
a day.
let like.
Do you think about it 1 hour a day?
The
I mean,
hour
that's what I'm
before
saying.
first pitch.
Yeah, that's it. Let me go. Shit, I got to log in Tiger Droppings. Let me get in this account. I got bitch. But the man gets paid a salary to do the job, and he loves it, by
Right.
the way. I think he knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
so
he does.
just trust in the team. Trust in the coach. Jesus Christ.
I got a bitch.
I got a bitch.
Jesus, y'all.
Whatever he decides, I'm against it.
Okay, I have some Skeens trivia for y'all then.
Maybe.
Okay, over the weekend,
Skeens Gland.
Skeens recorded the Tigers' first complete 9-inning game in over 2 years.
Mm.
The last time that happened was against Ole Miss in 2021. He was the pitcher.
Ooh, Ole Miss 2021.
The Tigers' first complete 9-inning game in over 2 years. The last time it happened was against Ole Miss in 2021. Who was the pitcher?
Ben Mintz.
Shit.
I'll give you. Do y'all want a hint at
Yeah.
this point? The first name is initials. The first-
AJ Labus?
Yeah, that's right.
AJ Labus?
Labus.
Yes.
Complete game?
Davis.
He fired a complete game on April 23rd, 2021, as the Tigers defeated 9th-ranked Ole Miss by a score of 7-2.
Damn.
What's the stat line? Do you have
The
it?
two most recent complete games in LSU baseball history have ended with the Tigers winning 7-2.
Mm-mm. Do you have a stat line from
No,
that
I
day?
do not. That's all I have for you. Isn't that weird, though?
It is weird.
And why are y'all so surprised about AJ?
Labus.
Well, because he was, he like during his time, he was dealing with injury the whole time. I mean, really, I mean, I think there was a real big push to like just get him out there, and I just don't recall him going a
Yeah.
full
I
game.
mean, it could have been anybody. That's what
Yeah.
happens with LSU baseball. That
Yeah.
guys that you don't expect to perform or show up, especially from the pitching staff, like kind of a little bit like Thatcher Hurd, where you have guys that you need to show out. It always seems to find its way
Yeah.
during like regional plays, super regional, where
Yeah.
it's like, oh, AJ Labus won a CG. Like, help, okay, we'll take it.
Caleb Gilbert.
Exactly.
That was.
That's it. I saw that highlight too. That was insane. Like you forget about
Golly.
like who was it?
Gilbert was dealing against Oregon State.
State,
wasn't
yeah.
he?
Oregon
Shoved.
State.
He was
He
dealing.
went 9. Like he didn't finish with a complete game, but he got pulled in the 9th inning.
Did he get hurt?
No, that was Eric Walker back
Eric Walker.
and that
That's
was
right.
when they went to.
That's right.
That would have been Paul's second natty,
Golly, he was
And they-
dealing that day.
and then popped the elbow,
Oh,
And I don't know
and he was
what,
never the same. It's unfortunate.
What was LSU ranked then?
I'm
It
looking at
doesn't say
right
that.
now,
Ole Miss was
okay.
ranked 9
LSU was not ranked. They were 24 and 14
Really?
at the time.
in April 21. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Paul's fault.
Paul's fault. Should have thrown Labus more.
So LSU sitting in the driver's seat of the regional today. I mean, for LSU to lose this regional, Oregon State has to beat them twice.
Right.
Right. So the first game is going to be at 1 o'clock. I expect they throw Coleman.
I would think Coleman, but with the weather, just because we've had.
Weather.
I mean, it's unbelievable that you have to take this.
It is.
Where's Skip on the? I thought we were gonna get a retractable roof. I thought he's supposed to be ahead of his time.
Yeah.
So you need a roof that moves back and forth in case the weather gets bad. But the only reason I would
Call Cap.
call Caparata.
Yep.
The only reason I would pause for Coleman is just because they said that, or Jay, that you've seen his velo dip whenever he doesn't know for sure that he can go. So he has to be on like a scheduled start appearance for him to get ready with the way that his elbow is. So
I mean, they've been able to hold some guys, right? I mean, they've hold Ackerman. They've held
Ackenhausen,
Ackenhausen.
Cooper.
Cooper.
The whole bullpen is
I mean,
available.
everybody's available.
Guidry came in and he'll be able to throw again. He only threw.
Sheesh, that kid.
Talk about
He's a dog.
Oh my God!
I mean, like-
you tell me he's a freshman. He thinks he's still a Barb. He thinks he's a senior.
So wait, he's going to be the starting shortstop on this team next year?
He's going to be the starting shortstop for the Rougarou whenever they're done.
Ronnie, don't screw him up.
He might get. He might get
I
the.
mean, like, just
he might get
hey,
the hook.
hey, Gavin, just hang back this summer, bro. You're good, man. You're
Cap
good.
number?
Dallas number.
Oh, okay.
Are we about to give his number out on live?
No, he's not.
Yeah, I am.
We can
He
get a
keeps calling
break.
school off.
Oh my God. What do you do?
He's gonna be calling Jordy like Jordy. I got a bunch of parents calling me.
Stewie, I'm texting this to your cell phone number.
Okay.
Y'all, guess who was in my resort when I got there? Just
Brian
one guess.
Kelly.
Who?
Brian Kelly.
Ed Orgeron.
No.
Is it LSU related?
No.
Is it
Think about who I would be most excited about.
Tom Brady?
No, it was Dak. Damn it, Dak.
Oh, go
Go
Dad.
Go Dak.
He
Go
was
Dak.
there, y'all,
Go
and I
Dak.
didn't know.
Did you get the hat from him?
No, I didn't know.
Oh, you didn't see him?
Someone told me he was there. I saw a guy wearing a Mississippi State shirt, and I was like, oh, I always do. I'm like, Hail State, when I see that randomly, especially in another country, I gotta go Hail State. And they were like, Dak is
Can
here.
you believe it? Me and you.
I mean, Hail State, y'all. When did you
Did you saw
graduate?
him?
No, I just saw a guy wearing a State shirt, and I always get excited about that. No, I didn't see him. He was leaving that day.
Call
and
him
then
after 7:30.
a person that drove us, I had a Dallas hat on, and I got out of the car, and he was like, I've been driving Jerry Jones here for 10 years. And I was like, you're lying. I was like, did you drive Dak when he was here? Yeah, he was just here.
Go Dak.
Damn it.
Go
Go
Dak.
Dak.
Go
Go
Dak.
Dak.
He
He's
was
gone.
here. He's
I
gone.
missed
He
him,
get beat
y'all.
up?
I would have died.
You jumped?
I did
Oh,
see
for
him
two
in
at the
the hat.
beach.
I did see him in the hat.
I
Shortly
think he's
after
still
on
running.
Instagram.
Oh, I
Did
bet
see
you
him
were.
hat.
I bet you
Can't
were
even get a winter
searching.
vacation. Still collecting L's.
Taking us in the off season. Poor Dak.
Dak, get up, bro.
Yeah, I can't. He got bodied.
Damn
did.
Caribbean. man.
Bodied
I
by a
want that
fraternity
hat.
kid.
He got bodied by you.
All right, we're going to talk to Dr. Caparato coming up here in after 7:30 this morning. Some other things from the weekend. Schemes throwing the football look good into the crowd. You see him let that thing go? bro?
I mean,
Yeah,
we
what
got-
was that about? Did he do
There's
that
a
to
story.
warm up?
There's a story about it. I mean, obviously they've had who was it? Garrett Edwards that was throwing the football and got everybody excited that maybe he's not hurt, but
Huge
apparently,
tease.
yeah. Apparently they like to warm up with the football. It's like a dynamic warm up type deal.
Did they say something about the way it spirals? Like somehow
It's just
that,
different
like,
from a baseball.
Yeah, right.
Like you got to throw it different.
It's a good like people train with it in the off season.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like it doesn't affect
Yeah.
the same parts of the arm as.
That's weird. That's
I know.
interesting.
I mean, yeah, I'm not a doctor.
That
No,
is-
I mean
that
that's
is
cool.
weird,
I'm being
though.
serious.
Oh, I
Like,
know,
that's
but I
interesting.
wish I could talk more
But
about
they were
it.
talking about it yesterday on a break during the game, saying something about like how they throw it, the way it spirals. Like if it spirals this certain way, like they're pitching well, like that. They know they're pitching right or something. Y'all don't know.
I didn't listen to the broadcast.
Like, I don't know if that.
I can only give you so much information on the pitchers.
Who was it? Who does
I
the
don't know about
sports
the arm
science?
angle.
We already got our sports
Get
science
somebody in
segment.
here to talk about it.
So we're going to talk weather here in a minute. Did anybody see the Tennessee Clemson game on
That's all I
Saturday
watched
night?
because there was no baseball.
I mean, that game, that was the best college baseball game I've seen in a minute. Came down to 2 outs, 2 strikes, bottom of the ninth. Tennessee hits a 3-run bomb to tie it up or to take the lead.
Yes.
And then Clemson comes back in the bottom of the ninth and ties it and extends it to 14. They take the starting pitcher out
Put him at first.
and put him at first. He goes 8 2/3. I mean, he nearly goes a complete.
You talking
game.
about the cat from Clemson?
Yeah,
He
from
plays
Clemson.
both ways. They said he's like the next Otani.
Oh no, he's a dog.
He's a stud.
I mean, he came up in the extras, and I mean that pitch they called him out on was, I mean, it was bull. I mean,
Well,
it was a bad
I
pitch.
think the biggest thing from that game, obviously, it was insane to watch because we almost went into Alex Box. We're like, hold on, we were just gathering people around, so we went to walk on, shout out Peretti. They were over there. We saw them for mic'd up, chatted with them for a little bit, and they put on like a whole production. So we were just kind of hanging out.
Like
and
a
then
tailgate situation.
And so we
They
were
got just
there.
a bunch of Land Rovers pulled up.
They
with the
did,
back-
actually.
Did they really?
Yes.
Ah, sick.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm sorry about your vacation. That must have been terrible. But we were just hanging out at walk-ons waiting for like kind of, gathering people to go to the game. Then it gets delayed. Then we just end up watching Clemson, Tennessee for the entire night. Like we watched all 15 innings and then the power went out right before the game ended. Wow. But the biggest thing from that game or the takeaway was them throwing out the center fielder who had 2 home runs and a double.
Unbelievable.
He's their best player and he got suspended for the next game for Clemson. I'm sorry.
Wait, why
Oh,
did he get
yeah.
thrown out?
He was
I missed this.
he was like chirping back and forth after the third out. It was like a massive situation where Clemson gets out of it, able to extend the game. And there's a guy for Tennessee on second. He's running in from center field, and they're just kind of like jawing back and forth a little bit, but going opposite directions. They don't come chest to chest. They don't do anything that would initiate like, oh, he's got to go.
Mm-hmm.
Like the second base umpire was just like, oh yeah, he's tossed, and everybody was like,
I
who
mean,
got
even like
tossed?
Kyle Peterson was like, so wait,
What happened? They thought they threw out the pitching coach.
Yeah, they did. Because the pitching coach came and met the guy like at the line and like chest bumped him. I mean, and there was like nothing going on between either side. It
They
was
had to
just,
they had to pull the feed
celebrating-
from like behind home plate that
Right.
nobody uses. They're like, what happened? And it was like this ancillary feed with no audio.
It's the way that like officials have gone out of their way to put their imprint on the game. It's crazy. Like, this happened at LSU. This happened between LSU
In Kentucky.
and Kentucky, right? Where somebody got thrown out.
Oh no, you're talking about when somebody actually got tossed. That was an away game.
But
This
like
season?
it was similar to this.
Well, they didn't know the guy in gray.
So
Was that Auburn?
No,
Yeah.
it was, they
Was
threw
that
somebody,
Auburn?
They threw somebody from the bullpen out.
I think it was at
What the
Auburn.
hell was that?
I don't know.
Construction across it. I mean, government, baby.
Sounds like they're drilling into the
That,
streets.
that's the old.
Jackhammer?
That's a jackhammer,
I think
dude.
that is a jackhammer.
But the same situation happened. Indiana hit a home run, and the second baseman came out and gave the guy that hit the home run like a prop, like a necklace.
Yeah.
Kicked him out the game. Couldn't play the next game.
Yeah, no, I saw the same thing. We had one of our listeners bringing it up. I saw this yesterday. I was watching the highlights. Bear 24. They gave Haley Van Lith a technical yesterday for celebrating a bucket during a gold medal game of an international competition.
She did go after
What?
the girl though. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I saw the clip.
Right.
She
She's
is.
clip.
Oh,
Haley Van Lith.
oh my
She's a
goodness.
bully.
She is a
She's
dog.
unbelievable.
Her and
She
Angel
is.
Reese on the same team next year with Michaela Williams.
Be a lot of
You know what I
attitude
mean?
on
Like,
that court, coach.
I'm just looking at some of Anissa Moro's highlights. I mean, I've not seen her. Those four together on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who's my girl that was knocking down all the threes in the championship? Boston?
Oh, Caitlin Clark.
No, for LSU.
Oh, damn, I forget her name now. Oh, Jasmine Carson.
Yeah.
Let's see-
She's not coming back.
No, I think
Okay.
she was a senior.
No, that was the story that one of the assistant coaches told. Schwartzy came on and he was like telling that Kim was giving a pregame speech and she was like, for some of you seniors, like, this will be your last game ever, or like, because you won't be able to like move on to the WNBA, play professionally. And she said that she took that was like, you could tell that she took that personally. She was like, "Oh, you don't think I'm good enough to be out here?
I
You
want
don't think
a
I'm going to play at the
technical
next?"
game
Oh, wow.
I want a technical a game from him next year.
Oh, you could. That'd be
Angel Reese was on her. I mean, she was getting a technical for just looking at people.
Yeah.
I mean, like she'd make a basket, stare at somebody, and referees would get intimidated, and they'd tee her up. Haley Van Lith.
Jesus.
I mean,
She's like chasing people down.
I mean, now with Angel, with Haley Van Lith in her back, I mean, I want a technical a game. I want to become like the bad girls of the league. You know what I mean? Like, I want them to be
Get new
looked at like the
shirts made.
Pistons.
Remember our bad boys in the SEC shirts?
Yes.
Oh, we need to make bad girls.
Bring it back.
Heck yeah.
Bring it back. 1 o'clock start today. All right, we're going to call Caparata. We'll be right back. We'll talk some weather here. Don't forget Metropolitan Health Group brings you our phone line. Real doctors, real solutions. We were talking about, speaking of Jason Ramazan and the crew, Mr. Fun's Travel has a trip planned for Orlando for the opening weekend of college football. Remember, if you want to get a part of it, be a part of it. First class travel, hotel stay, accommodations, MrFunsTravel.com, MrFunsTravel.com. We'll be back with a weather report and more, getting you set up for today. LSU versus Oregon State, 1 o'clock first pitch over at the box.
In a wreck, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys is ready to go to work for you. Come meet your team.
I'm your intake specialist. I coordinate your case and connect you with your attorney and paralegal.
That's us, your legal team.
Here you go.
Thanks. And we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
I'm your settlements and disbursement manager, and I'm here to get you paid on time.
I'm attorney Gordon McKernan. Put our team to work today. Just call us. Get it done.
Are you looking for sound financial advice? Then get in touch with Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. You can call him today at 225-261-8262 or email him daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. If you're planning for retirement, saving for college, for children or grandchildren, or just looking for sound investment opportunities, get in touch with Daniel today, 225-261-8262, located on Magnolia Square Drive in Central. Daniel Newman of Edward Jones.
Don't let the name fool you. Men's Total Health has offerings for the ladies, too. Guys, is your wife or partner suffering from urinary incontinence, low sexual desire, or pain during sex? Then the O-Shot might be for her. Don't let it scare you. It's totally natural. It's PRP. And Mike Roach and the crew at Men's Total Health will make you as comfortable as you can be. Contact me for more information, Katie at jordyculotta.com, and I'm happy to tell you everything that Men's Total Health has to offer for the ladies.
Hey Tiger fans, when you're traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, make sure to visit Tom and Wright Granning at Go-Mart and On The Go Deli, where you can fill up your tank and your belly. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you may need on your trip. Located at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left. Also stop by Wardo's Po' Boys at 309 North Broadway on the beautiful Natchez Bluff, where the Po' Boys are so good you'll swear you're in Cajun country.
All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show live on this Monday, live on Kevin Falk's 47th birthday. Shout out to the GOAT, the great one. Falk him up. Happy birthday, Kevin Falk, here on this Monday. If you're getting out to the box today, make sure that you get out there early for the 1 o'clock first start. We'll let you know whether or not you need to bring an umbrella as we tap into Dr. Steve Caparato over at WAFB. Dr. Caparato, it has been a very eventful weekend for the LSU baseball fans. They've had to fight through weather delays, and they have seen a lot of good baseball. What will this Monday bring them? Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Jordy. Yeah, doing fine. The best I can tell people is pack your patience because we could be in for more weather delays today, unfortunately. I've got rain chances today running about 60%, and what we'll probably see here is relatively dry conditions through the morning, but probably not long afternoon. We'll start to see those storms bubbling up just like we did over the weekend. So be ready for it. Very real possibility we could have some more of those delays.
What time do you expect that to start?
Yeah, I think stuff will really start popping probably not too long after noon. Look, I'm looking at the radar screen right now. We actually have a shower or two kind of around Hammond and north of there up towards Amite. And so a couple of showers are possible this morning. But it's really once we start getting temperatures closer to 90 degrees, which will be around the noon hour, that we'll probably start seeing that stuff popping. So it looks like, understand 60% rain chance means still about 4 in 10 people don't get rain today, but overall the pattern looks pretty similar to what we saw over the weekend. So that's what I'm saying. Be ready for more delays.
Doc, who is monitoring these lightning bolts that are within however many miles of a radius that extends the suspension 30 more minutes?
Yeah, it's a great question. I don't know the answer to that. I suspect that it's maybe LSU's game operations team that would be in charge of that. I know a number of years ago I spoke with somebody in game ops, and I don't know if it's still the case, but at that time LSU was contracting out with a private weather company for the weather information they use for their athletics events. So I would imagine that's still the case, that they're in consultation with a private company. And then you've got some of those game ops folks here on campus just kind of watching that. One thing I'll say along those lines that I did address a couple of times this morning, I get the frustration of everybody when you're sitting out there at the box and it's the sun's out overhead and they call this delay. But the rule is a good rule. It's there for a good reason. I showed some examples, but basically not unusual at all to get lightning strikes about 10 miles or so away from the actual storm, the parent storm. So it's a danger. The risk is relatively low for any given storm, but the outcome, obviously, if you do get a hit, is really bad, right? So that's why the rule is there. And there's plenty of examples of these lightning strikes occurring well away from the actual storm.
Well, Doc, if that is true, and we have no reason not to believe you, you're very more credible than we are. We owe you a huge apology because we've been blaming you for the delays for the last year, I believe, along with the cancellations of schools and all of it. So I hope you accept our apology here.
I'm not looking for apologies. And I will say, Saturday I was working out in my yard during game 1, and so I wasn't following real closely radar. And when that delay was called in, was at Tulane and Sam Houston. I know it seems like from what I heard and kind of saw, might have been a little quick on the trigger with that one. But ultimately,
that's what happens when you don't work.
Thank you, Doc. Not only does he provide an alibi, he takes a shot. I love it.
I don't know who was on. Who was in
I
the
love
booth.
it.
No, but look. Yeah, I mean, it's also one of those things. It's easy for all of us to second guess. But imagine you're the person, or if it's LSU game ops, whoever it is making that decision, and it's literally, if something goes wrong, it could mean life or death for somebody, right? It's a low risk, but do you want that weight on your shoulders, or whatever happens, that outcome in your hands? And so I think if you try to flip your perspective on that and put yourself in the shoes of whoever has to make those calls, you understand it a little more, but also understand these are NCAA rules, that are pretty steadfast. I think, it's not just baseball, it applies to football and everything. So when you're in that radius, they've got to pull the trigger.
All right, WAFB just celebrated 70 years of service, and they are the absolute best. They are our partner here when it comes to news, weather, and sports. You can follow Dr. Caparato on Twitter throughout the day. He's been posting updates throughout the weekend. So if you want to keep up with the news today, easy to do so. At Steve WAFB is where you follow him on Twitter. At WAFB is where they're at on social media if you want to keep up with all that's going on. But to stay in touch and stay in tune with the weather today, stay in touch with our friends and our partners over at WAFB and Dr. Caparato, who's a part of the meteorology team over there. Thank you as always, Doc.
All right. Thanks, Jordy.
All right. See you. There he is, Dr. Caparato, checking in this morning. So, as he said here on this Monday, pack your patience with you, as it could be a long day again. I wonder why, like in this instance, and I know TV draws and has such a say-so on this, why wouldn't they have the first pitch at 9 a.m.?
I know, that is weird.
Why not move it? If you have this information, like this guy's, he's been doing that for a long time.
Other games today, right?
I get it, but last night was on ESPN Plus.
Right.
Does it really matter what time it goes?
That wouldn't.
They're on ESPN Plus again today.
So really, you're not really, the start time is not crucial on a digital product like ESPN Plus, right? You're not directing customers to go follow your advertising. You're knowing that the LSU and Oregon State crowd is going to find this game, whether you put it at 2 o'clock in the morning or whether you put it at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. If it's at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and there's going to be weather that's going to affect this game, why don't they have somebody in place with enough time? Now the time's probably lost them. You can't make a call right now and say, hey, first pitch in an hour and a half.
No.
But last night they had this information.
Yeah.
Right? Where, you could get a guy like Caparato on the phone, say, hey, man, what are you seeing?
Right.
Like, hey, man, tomorrow at noon, it's going to get real hairy. So, if you got to play 2 of these, you might want to try and go at 8 a.m.
Right.
That might be the best way to get this done. I'm sure it's a lot of smart people. A lot of people that are, whatever the reasoning behind it makes sense. But on the surface, right, rather than having to play, dodge the weather all weekend, why don't you look at a window that, you got somebody who's credible there telling you could play it between now and noon, but once noon hits, you're looking at a 60% chance of rain.
Yeah. Fayetteville's under weather delay too, I think, still. They're regional.
Arkansas got
No,
crushed.
what in the
Same
hell
cat hit
happened?
2 grand slams.
I mean,
He
And then he hit another home run.
He hit 3 home runs before that.
wait, he was the leadoff guy,
That was
right?
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
But he hit the
He led the game off with a home run.
And he hit 2 grand slams.
Yeah.
20-5.
That's
And
fun.
it wasn't
That's
that close.
bad.
No.
Like,
it was
That's
get us out the
bad.
game.
Like, I mean, it was Arkansas. I turned it on in the 3rd inning, and you could see it in their face. Like, they had like, they're like, get us out of here.
That's
Yeah, what happened?
That's that game that you turn on and immediately like, okay, I don't have to watch
Yep.
this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think I know. Yeah,
I'm
I'll read
out.
the box
Yeah.
score.
Buddy Bro, Jordy, I think the rule states that you have to give a team 12 hours after an overnight game to start a new game. Makes sense.
A lot of rules out there that we're not
Makes sense.
familiar
So
with.
Not aware
TCU
of
plays at 2.
So
plays
Oregon State-
Arkansas at 2.
Oregon State wrapped up at what time last night? Sam Houston and
Late. They
Oregon
almost
State.
avoided
Was it
extras.
past midnight.
Hmm. I would imagine. I didn't see the end of it. So probably around midnight. Whenever. But if you talk about pitching coach, if you're worried about LSU's depth and what they have left, Oregon State's feels
Shot.
like they're shot.
Yeah.
I mean.
Well,
They brought in a sidewinder yesterday. That
you
was
saw
they
the
were throwing like
way-
88.
I thought that the way that game ended versus LSU, where
They
you
could have lost
It was
again.
kind of a half strike, half. You know, it was still kind of you didn't know, and the way the umpire kind of punched him out, they shot the dugout for Oregon State, and you could like see it on their face then. Like, if we didn't win this one,
Oh, you ain't got it.
this is gonna be a long trip home.
And
You
if
know
you-
what I mean? Like,
right.
you got to play another one tonight. Then you got to wake up and play this LSU team again tomorrow in front of what's probably going to be another raucous house.
If we can,
I mean,
we
those
can get the weather right.
Those chants of LSU after the home runs have to be like. I
It
guess
sounded like football.
Yeah,
it did sound like football, but I mean, like to be like Oregon State, that's never seen anything like that. Like they like the I kind of imagine like Pac-12 baseball. You know what I mean? It's probably played in front of a couple of thousand people. You know, like cumulatively all season long. You show up and they
they're
got
having
10 breathing down your neck.
Strong.
I mean,
It smells like whiskey and
waiting
bourbon.
to erupt on a Sunday.
Bourbon and
You know,
whiskey.
like isn't this like will these people have
Probably.
anything to do?
Did these people go to church
Well,
today?
they
This
probably,
is church, son.
Yeah, that's right. The house
They're
that
not going to
Skeens
church
built.
in Oregon anyway. They're fine.
Welcome to the.
They just don't understand the weather. They can't breathe.
It's the church of Skip
I
Bertman.
mean, the pitcher from Oregon State was like their starter was like he looked like he was about to die.
He was soaking wet.
He was
not from rain.
after every pitch he was wiping.
Not from rain either,
It was
baby.
South Louisiana summer heat yesterday before that rainstorm.
And he was shook.
Is that not what y'all thought about watching them? Like, how are they playing in this?
Oh yeah,
in this climate?
that's the first thing I thought about when I looked at
Yes.
him because his jersey was soaking wet in the
Yes.
first.
And
I
he
was like,
was
They don't know
shook.
what's
I was like,
going
this
on.
man he's not in his right place right now.
He got a pitch clock violation, and then after the pitch clock violation, they called a mound meeting. He's still looking at like his pitch, like he's looking for a pitch to be called, and they're like, he looks up, he's like, "Oh, what is everybody doing over here?" And it's like, this guy is not in
Hey,
it
dude,
at
come
all.
on.
Like, come on, like
Give me that ball.
shake. No, they shook him out.
He's still shaking off pitches.
He was, dude. I'm telling you, I was watching him because he gets the violation, and I was watching him warm up, and he was. Even in the bullpen, like deep breathing, trying to get himself right. I was like, this
Trying to
guy's
just
not
get
going.
air in.
Yeah, he was like, this guy's not going to make it.
I can't breathe, coach.
Gets the bases loaded, and he gets the. They had Beloso up, and he gets the violation with the 3-2 count, so it loads the bases. And then that's when he's looking at his watch for the next pitch. And I'm telling you, he looks up, and the catcher's right in his face, like, oh, like, what are we doing? He's like, what are you doing, dude? And he gets out the inning with the Tommy White. The next one was the Tommy White inning, but like he had 2 chances where they got hot in the bullpen fast.
Yeah.
They're like, we got to get this guy out of here. He is.
Get somebody going.
But
Get somebody
yeah,
going.
Uh-huh.
Hurry
and
up.
they were
Get somebody up, boys.
The crowd was wearing out that the kid that came in that was throwing like submarine style. Like, what are you doing? Like, that's not how you throw a baseball. And I was like, this poor cat. He's my size. Like, I was like, he's not gonna make it, man. And when he came in against Cruz, I was like, Cruz gonna hit this 450 feet if he lollipops one in there like he's doing. Because they were throwing like below the hitting speed,
Cruz
and LSU took a second to adjust.
Tattooed that ball.
It didn't get higher than your kneecaps.
I mean, that thing was what was the exit velocity on that thing?
They can't
a
do
missile.
They can't do TrackMan during
what
NCAA
does that
regionals.
What, we're finding a lot about the NCAA.
Like,
where
I've
they
read
got
that
their
too.
vice grip on baseball.
Like, what effect does that have on the game?
I don't know.
What?
'Cause
That
I
is,
think
that is the NCAA stuff that you're like. So y'all really took a part of the day to
A meeting.
say, like, hey, we got to get rid of the TrackMan stuff with all college baseball postseason games.
Can't do
and not
analyticals.
one of these old white men stood up and said, "Why? Like, for what?
They're like, hell yeah, let's do it.
What's
Take it away.
What's the reasoning behind it? Because I know I'd love to know what the exit velocity on Dylan Cruz's home run is. You know what I mean? Like, nobody in that room would be curious of, sure, what's the mile per hour of the pitch? You know what I mean? People care about that stuff. I mean, it's just, in the NCAA, like when I read that, I was like, huh? Like, what? Just another head-scratching, why do you exist moment for the NCAA. Like, how are you going to take away the analytics of baseball?
It's just too much information going around.
It's an analytical game.
All they care about is numbers in baseball.
I mean, like,
they're numbers obsessed. No, we can't be having that much information.
Way
Get
too
out.
many numbers.
That's privilege for the NCAA. It's a copyright, and if you try to distribute this information, then go to jail.
Trying to make me do math.
You blinked, and that ball was out of the yard. I mean, like, that shot of the ball bouncing back there in that parking lot was, I mean, it was almost like, it was like two different shots.
By the time you stood up, it was out the park. Like, you didn't have, it was a no doubter in every sense of the word. By the time you stood up, like, oh, it wasn't a,
no.
Oh, it's
it
like,
was almost the sound of it.
Oh my God.
The sound of it was like,
that
that's
caused
gone.
a weather delay.
That's gone. I mean, Ben McDonald was like, see ya.
See ya.
I mean, that ball's got no shot.
It was unbelievable. It's like I said, a testament to, if people want to rag on like the Alex Box experience or whatever, yesterday was a time and a half to be able, for those people, like I said, to come back and then be into it like that.
Cool.
And if LSU would have had to play again that night, everybody would have stayed.
No doubt about it. That's what it was built for. Like, it was built for those. The thing about the old box that was so great about it and nostalgic about it was that it was always on top of you. It didn't matter if there was 1,500 people there or there was 4,000 people there. It sounded like it was packed, right? When you build this, monstrosity of
the monolith
empire of a baseball field, you know what I mean? Like, Tuesday, Wednesday night, midweek, or some of these weekend series that may not mean as much, it doesn't have that home field advantage just because it's vacant. There's just not as many people there. But you put people into it like you did yesterday and have done countless times during postseason, that Oklahoma game, back with Nola and Jonathan Gray that were on the mound. I mean, you put 10,000 in there like it was yesterday before that weather delay. And it even sounded 10,000 strong post weather delay on television, but being there through the first 3 innings,
it was like a football.
That's as good as it can be.
And that's what kind of LSU is, right? Like, because as much as they've expanded the football field, where if you play McNeese on a Saturday, you're not going to have the same experience. It's built for Alabama, 7 p.m. at night, and you're okay. This is why it's this big, because you can't wiggle out of there.
Yeah.
It's built for these type of atmospheres where if you build it, they will come. But there's going to be games wherever it's like, okay, there's 4,000 people here and it's a 12,000 seat stadium. So it looks weird. But whenever it's a 12,000 seat game, there's 14,000 people in there that are standing around, like, just trying to get a glimpse of a baseball. And you're like, this is why people come here. Like, if you're trying to pitch the program, look at it. Not many, like you said, Oregon State was probably like, what the hell are these people doing back?
They had to have been.
And even if it wasn't as many as had arrived before, and like some people probably went home, but the people that came back are the people that you should be terrified of, or the people that stayed, or the people you should be afraid of, because they love this more than anything.
Man,
they
I feel
can't.
like you're getting a job with LSU for
I'd love
baseball
to.
PR.
Yeah. Scott Wilbur's sitting right in front of me.
I mean, you need to at this point.
Well,
I'm gonna send
I
this
grew up
clip
in
out.
it, and that was
I know
my
you did.
But
I
this
know
is
you
my
mean it.
But this is my first regional experience. I've never been to a regional game.
Really?
Yeah, because baseball, we didn't we're not driving from Alexandria to go to that.
Yeah.
Like, for a weekend, we would go to football games make a Saturday of it. But living here now and be able to go has been an experience. It's been awesome.
When was the last regional hosted here?
2019.
Okay. You weren't here then?
No, I wasn't. I didn't have access. I wouldn't be able to,
Yeah.
shout out 104.5.
So if LSU
Stuck me in a broom closet.
Wins today, they go on to Super Regional.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
And do they have to? They have to finish today.
They have to.
I think it's tomorrow, right? Is that not right?
I would think that you would have to have the finals today so you can set next weekend.
I don't know.
At some point, you have to get to next weekend.
Yeah, man, you got to set it.
Somebody knows.
That's nowhere. What?
Because
Kentucky,
if there's
right?
another weather delay, because there's games all day, so doesn't this have to be done by tomorrow? What's today? So this is Monday.
Today's Monday, Katie.
Monday, right? No, it's
Vacation
Monday.
time.
Snow is Monday, right?
Doesn't feel like it. We're on regional time.
Where did y'all go last week?
Bahamas.
Oh.
What'd y'all do?
Fed the pigs.
Yeah,
We
she's
did
feeding
feed the
pigs
pigs.
and water.
I didn't feed the pigs.
No, I would. That's not. I
I
would.
videoed while everybody else fed
So
the
you're
pigs.
okay with goats, but not pigs?
I had a pig. I hated it.
Oh,
I
wow.
gave it to a pig whisperer. It was awful. I'll never do
whisperer?
it.
What was that like?
Keep going.
Yeah, like I mean, we got this baby pig, and like you couldn't even pick it up. Like it would scream the whole time. It was awful, and I just didn't care for it. I didn't know what their mouths looked like.
Oh,
like
they're
when
disgusting
They're very
animals.
strange animals.
They're
like
very
I don't,
nasty.
I don't like them, and we couldn't deal with it, and we tried for like a solid week, and then I found this woman who knew the woman that I got Henry from, and I drove the pig to Ponchatoula, and like she sent me videos that night with it like bathed and wrapped up in this little blanket, like it was.
So you were a bad pig mom.
I guess I was, yeah.
Terrible pig mom.
All of us were. So.
Great
Farm
goat
comes
mom.
to the city.
I know.
Yeah.
So no more pigs for
No
us.
more, no-
Just chickens
What'd you
and
name
goats. Oreo. It was black and white.
Damn, that'll
Oh.
do, pig.
That'll do, pig. Charlotte.
See you, buddy.
Charlotte, babe in the big blue city.
I know. So yeah, we did all that. We did a lot of beach. We did the boat. That was the best part.
Did you put any? Did you cast any aspersions when they said we want to feed the pigs? You're like, we shouldn't do that.
No, I mean,
were you not excited about it?
No, I knew we were going to do that. I was like, I'll be there videoing. I stood in the water with him. He bumped into me. One stepped on me with its huge hoof. Like, you know, I wasn't scared of him. I just didn't want to do it. Like, I
Did you
don't.
throw him a jab?
I just don't want to feed the pigs.
She probably
like,
did.
Post him up.
Yeah.
She's like, you would be so good on a skillet.
Yes.
I mean, they pooped.
You stink right now, but you about to smell great.
Wait, did they pooped in the water?
Yes, and it
Pigs
looks
are
like
the vile
it looks like
creatures.
human
They
poop.
are.
Their poop looks like human
Yeah,
poop.
they are very
Well, they eat
nasty
like humans.
creatures.
So, but someone was back there scooping it the whole time. You know.
Oh. What
We
a
swam
gig.
with some
Yeah.
turtles.
What
like,
a
we
gig.
did
How much are we
cool
getting paid
stuff.
for this?
What
Yeah,
a
right.
gig.
Thank you, Jordy. I'm thankful to be here.
Yeah, they
You
did,
know, put it in
Yeah,
perspective.
right,
they did it right.
I'll
They
pay you
did it right.
$7.50 an hour to scoop that pig
Water
shit. Yeah.
It's hard. I mean, I guess it floats around. It might be
It
kind of fun,
floats,
like kind of
yeah.
catch a jellyfish.
What are we catching in a
Still,
bag?
say out
A
loud what
net.
your
They
job
had
is.
like
Yeah.
a bait net.
So
That's what it looked like.
Yeah.
Ugh, gosh.
Scooped it up.
What a
Yeah.
gig.
I'm out.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to
Caught my
talk
record
to Michael Anderson. He customized shoes for a lot of the athletes on campus. He's got a spare. He's got some for Dylan Cruz. He's got some for Paul Skeens. We will talk to him coming up here in the second hour. Remember, Daily, we're brought to you by Katie's Restaurant. Get in touch with Katie's online at katiesinmidcity.com. You can stop in and see them there. They're located on Iberville Street with daily lunch specials, daily great menu specials that you can find from St. Louis-style pizza to some of your favorites of New Orleans cuisine. Stop and find them on Iberville Street, and you can see all of it online, katiesinmidcity.com. katiesinmidcity.com. Don't forget about their sister restaurant, Francesca's, which is a deli over there in Lakeview. Stop in and see them. Learn all about it at katiesinmidcity.com. Hour 2, Jordy Culotta Show coming at you.
Fresh pig.
Donaldsonville Glass and Body, the trusted name in frame, body, and automotive paint repair since 1977. They have served their customers for over 45 years. You can find them online at dgbauto.com or stop in and see them Railroad Avenue and Division Street out in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Look, they can help you with your insurance claims. They can make the repair process as stress-free as possible. I'm speaking from experience here. I've got numerous windshields, body repair, all done by Kenny and the crew over at Donaldsonville Glass and Body. They are, without question, the most well-equipped shop in the area. Stop in and see them today. Shop them online, dgbauto.com, or stop in and see the crew over in Division Street in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Donaldsonville Glass and Body. Hey fellas, it's Jordy Culotta for my friends over at Men's Total Health. Guys, do you suffer from fatigue, decreased libido, erectile dysfunction, weight gain or loss of muscle mass, signs of depression, anxiety, hair loss, mental fog, general loss of interest? Then you might be suffering from low testosterone. Go see my friend Mike Roach and his great team over at Men's Total Health, over in Metairie at menstotalhealth.net, online And stop in and see how they can change your life today. A simple shot and some knowledge from Mike Roach can get you back up, moving with your energy, get your sex drive back, build your muscle mass, make you feel young again. All online, menstotalhealth.net. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz.
We're all from different places and backgrounds. We've each experienced our own versions of life, but in the end, we're all on the same team. I'm part of that team, along with these players in purple and gold.
Kayshawn Buddha, Malik Neighbors, Miles Frazier,
Kyron Lacy,
Greg Brooks.
Whether on the field or in the courtroom, your team matters.
So join our team.
Make a difference.
Bet. Let's get it done.
The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you by A-Bears Lawn Maintenance. Commercial or residential, A-Bears Lawn Maintenance is ready to work. A-Bears can tackle all your homeowners association requirements. Call Blake at 225-485-8022. A-Bears Lawn Maintenance.
In a wreck, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys is ready to go to work for you. Come meet your team.
I'm your intake specialist. I coordinate your case and connect you with your attorney and paralegal.
That's us, your legal team.
Here you go.
Thanks. And we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
I'm your settlements and disbursement manager, and I'm here to get you paid on time.
I'm attorney Gordon McKernan. Put our team to work today. Just call us. Get it done.
Are you looking for sound financial advice? Then get in touch with Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. You can call him today at 225-261-8262 or email him daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. If you're planning for retirement, saving for college for children or grandchildren, or just looking for sound investment opportunities, get in touch with Daniel today, 225-261-8262, located on Magnolia Square Drive in Central. Daniel Newman of Edward Jones.
Don't let the name fool you. Men's Total Health has offerings for the ladies, too. Guys, is your wife or partner suffering from urinary incontinence, low sexual desire, or pain during sex? Then the O-Shot might be for her. Don't let it scare you. It's totally natural. It's PRP. And Mike Roach and the crew at Men's Total Health will make you as comfortable as you can be. Contact me for more information, Katie at jordyculotta.show.com, and I'm happy to tell you everything that Men's Total Health has to offer for the ladies.
Hey Tiger fans, when you're traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, make sure to visit Tom and Wright Granning at Go-Mart and On The Go Deli, where you can fill up your tank and your belly. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you may need on your trip. Located at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left. Also stop by Wardo's Po' Boys at 309 North Broadway on the beautiful Natchez Bluff, where the Po' Boys are so good you'll swear you're in Cajun country.
All right, welcome back here. Jordy Culotta Show, as always, powered and built by our friends over at R&B Builders. Get in touch with Rhett and his crew today if you're looking for a custom house or if you're looking for a redesign. Get in touch with them over at rmb, rmb-builders.com. rmb-builders.com is where you can find them. All right, we got Mike Anderson, who is the shoe designer. Looks like he got his days messed up. This is not on us. He said he just read the text message and got it mixed up.
Okay, this is a man that looks like a liar. Drop him up. Okay.
Oh, sorry. I
Sorry.
didn't mean to do this.
All right.
Everybody calm down.
All right, he's going to come in tomorrow.
Okay.
Tomorrow.
Great guy. We appreciate you, Mike.
Expect a pair. Size 9.
Yeah. I wear 13, Mike.
So he's bringing Dylan Cruz shoes in with him?
Skeens.
Paul Skeens.
Paul Skeens shoes in with him. Nice.
I think he made some for Beloso, maybe, as well.
Cruz was wearing his cleats yesterday.
Yeah, he's done Cruz. That's what we're saying over here. Already dropped size 9. What's your size? You have to measure your foot on air. You have to take your shoe off.
Okay.
Oh.
Tune in. You can have a sock when you measure your foot.
You don't have to.
You can be socked.
You gotta get a true. You gotta mold it.
All right, he'll be in tomorrow morning at 8 a.m.
It's gross.
He'll be here.
It seems gross to mold your foot.
You can sell it on eBay.
All right, remember today, 1 o'clock, Jay, as we talked to Dr. Steve Caparato, he said to heads up on the weather. You're going to have to pack your patience today as LSU and Oregon State scheduled to play at 1 o'clock. We will see if they'll be able to get that in this morning or today with the weather coming up. What's up?
What
happened?
I don't know what's going on.
It was just
This
something
morning,
he said,
we're all over the place.
Yeah, I got you.
This
Get
morning,
that in.
tomorrow,
Gotta
get that in this morning, or maybe the afternoon.
Maybe later tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Get it in whenever.
Today.
Welcome back, kid. LSU football over the weekend, as we said, was hosting a ton of prospects.
Those are sick.
They had pictures and social media and all of it coming out throughout the weekend as LSU had some of the biggest and best for the class of 2024 and 2025 in as they were, like Brian Kelly told us during the interview, June has turned into a huge recruiting month. There is camps. They had their offensive lineman and defensive lineman camp that popped up over the weekend. But this is a great opportunity to show off the campus, to show off what they got going on campus and inside the program. So just kind of getting started, really.
Friday night.
What's that?
A family in the airport Friday night. I knew. I didn't know who it was, but I could tell he was a recruit, and then LSU guy was there meeting them at the gate and took them away. But I don't know who it was. It was a guy and his mom and dad and maybe a sibling.
They're going to be coming in all
Cool story.
all summer, really, all month for LSU. As we said, right now is a huge time for recruiting on the circuit. One to keep an eye out on is an Alabama commit, linebacker Sterling Dixon, who is out of Mobile, has been committed to Alabama since December 1st. LSU has done a lot of good work behind the scenes to stay involved with Dixon and staying relevant on this. Matt House and Brian Kelly, along with Frank Wilson, have really kept a foot down on the gas pedal on Sterling Dixon. So we'll see what shakes out from that. But look for LSU to try and flip him here over the next couple of weeks and months in recruiting for the class of 2024 because hearing some really good stuff come out of both LSU side and people who follow recruiting in talking to Dixon and his camp on what they have going on. So Alabama has a linebacker commit, Sterling Dixon. LSU has been on for a while, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
And if he has a wild hair to come to LSU, I'm just looking at 247 Sports. Alabama has 44 edge rushers on the roster already, right now, and LSU has 15.
Is that a legit number?
I'm looking right at it.
That is a legit number.
That's unbelievable.
That is amazing.
How many can you offer and get?
How many?
There's only 11, and there's only 2 at your specific position.
That is amazing.
Hey, can't have enough O
I
line
play
and D
defensive.
line.
I play defensive end for Alabama. But do you play?
Yeah,
No.
probably not.
But I'm on the team.
I'm on. I got a jersey, helmet.
I mean, Nick Saban loves D line.
All right, so we will also be monitoring the SEC and the NCAA tournament today to see who advances. Alabama and Boston College winner will face off against Wake Forest. Wake Forest has they went 3-0 in the Winston-Salem Regional. They will host a Super Regional. It'll either be Alabama or Boston College. That'll be live in Tuscaloosa for that winner. Texas versus the Texas won the Coral Gables Regional to advance. So they beat Miami yesterday. They will advance to fight the number 8 national seed, whether it's Stanford or Texas A&M. That game will be at 8 o'clock tonight from Stanford's campus. Of course, the number 12 national seed Kentucky Indiana winner is awaiting the Baton Rouge regional winner. Kentucky and Indiana will play in a final on Monday. LSU will play Oregon State, obviously, to see if they can advance out of the Baton Rouge regional. Whoever wins the Kentucky-Indiana game will take on the winner of today's games between LSU and Oregon State. LSU only needs 1. Oregon State needs 2. Tennessee was electric this weekend as they went to Clemson and advanced. They stayed alive on Saturday night when it was down to 2 outs, 2 strikes. Was able to hit a 3-run blast in the top of the 9th to stay alive. They went to extra innings. They ended up winning the regional. They're going to face the winner of the Southern Miss Penn regional. Southern Miss and Penn were in the Auburn regional final and bounced Auburn. The Golden Eagles today must win twice to beat Penn to advance to a super regional that will be. It looks like Tennessee might be a host now. Coastal Carolina and Duke is awaiting, Virginia is awaiting the winner of Coastal Carolina and Duke. They'll play a regional final today. Virginia went 3-0 in the Charlottesville regional. They'll be hosting a super regional next week, and they'll be waiting on the Coastal Carolina Duke regional. And then it'll be Xavier and Oregon's winner taking on Dallas Baptist and Oral Roberts winner. So still today, a couple of finals to be decided on both sides of this, what would be super in each of them between Xavier and Oregon, and then you have Dallas Baptist and Oral Roberts. And then the final one, you have the Fayetteville regional winner as TCU advanced to the Fayetteville regional final on Sunday, and they'll either take on Arkansas or Santa Clara, who they'll find out who they'll meet there. And they'll take on the number 14 national seed, Indiana State, who is awaiting the winner of that series. So that's what the Monday looks like here as far as the college baseball slate is concerned. Of course, here in Baton Rouge, we will be looking at a chance for weather. You know, just got to be looking out to see when they're going to be able to squeeze this thing and keep it in for
Oh my God!
With the weather.
That's an all-timer. I was just looking up Giovanni DiGiacomo.
Gotta keep it in.
Squeeze that thing and keep it in.
We just want to make sure everybody's awake.
Alabama already advanced to the Super Regionals.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So they'll play Wake
Thank you,
Forest.
Stu.
What about Florida and Texas Tech? They're today too. Did you say that?
I think so.
They're at 11.
The
weather looks perfect outside.
There's nothing worse than people like openly tell you that they're practicing or trying, like, to have a baby. Like, oh, what?
We're trying.
Yeah, it's like we're trying. It's like, oh, nice. So you're just blasting.
That's all,
that's
all you think about when you
coming
look
right
at
in
them
her.
now.
Good to know. Have you met my uncle? Granddad's here. We're trying.
So random.
Creamfield Donuts around here. Huh?
Squeeze it in and keep it in.
Are you squeezing it and keeping it in?
Are you know
That's
how
the
it
question.
works?
All right. So who's going to the game today?
I think we got mic'd up. We're trying to figure out a
What do I gotta do
schedule.
here?
We
Yeah.
were we didn't want to go at 6 because we figured that would be too late. But now with the weather, we're still trying to decide. We wanted to do like either a watch along or like
That's
a
what I was gonna
pregame.
say. The watch
yeah,
along's
they're so
good
much
when y'all
fun.
do that.
Yeah.
I know.
And I mean, you kind of forget just because now that I work with them, you forget how knowledgeable and how much they did for the game of baseball at LSU. go to a game and see them and they can't watch a pitch. Like you said, I'm sure Jordy gets stopped all the time just because it's Jordy.
Yeah.
You know, everybody sees him. He's a very recognizable public figure. But for Mikey and Jared at a baseball game, it's, did y'all get to watch a pitch? Like everybody. And for Mikey, it's so funny. It's like all 45-year-old women. I was there in 2009. Like, it's like, damn it. Still feels, guys. Feels good. But for like everything that they're able to like take in and how they like explain the game, especially during a watch along, they make it very digestible for somebody that doesn't. If you don't know the game or whatever, like if you're just a casual baseball fan, it's still they make it very easy to watch it with you and explain what's actually happening in the game. They're great at it. They could have they went to the radio booth. We all popped up there, and they were listening to like Doug and Buzzy. Chris Blair's a real pro.
Oh, man.
Because between Buzzy and Doug, got to wrangle the cats a little bit.
I listened to them yesterday actually for the last 3 innings. I had them on and was watching because I was delayed on the deal, and I was listening and doing some stuff outside. And it was, man. I mean, Blair is a
pro.
I mean, he is a real professional when keeping it on. You've got 2 big personalities in Buzzy and Doug first. And you've got a limited time to squeeze these personalities in this window that is very tight for Blair to still set this. He's got to set the stage.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? You got to still set the table of, the count, the score, who's up, what's going on, where we are in the game. And he is able to, you can tell of all 3 of Blair's calls, football, baseball, and basketball. To me, basketball seems like his most relaxed.
That's his comfort zone.
He's very comfortable in that one. Football, he's intense. He's great. He's on. He provides a soundbite every game. Baseball, you can tell he's working.
Yes.
Like he's doing a broadcaster's job that if you don't understand the trade, you don't get what he's doing. I would compare him to like what Ernie Johnson does inside TNT, inside basketball and TNT with Shaq, Charles, and Kenny. In fact, Ernie Johnson right now has a great interview with Dan Le Batard on South Beach Sessions, which runs about an hour and 15 minutes. And it is as raw and as uncut as I've ever heard Ernie Johnson, because Le Batard early in the interview strips him down and says, I'm not letting you be humble in this interview. Like, you're going to tell me why you are great at your job. Because everybody can't do what you do, and you've been doing it for 35 years. And in television, people don't make it 35 years.
And
you get
be
sniffed
beloved.
Out. You know what I mean? There's only a couple of people. Like you mentioned, like Pat Sajak's the only other person in television that Le Batard knows that can stay, like kind of uncontroversial and like really liked for so long. I mean, like even a guy like Alex Trebek was controversial. You know what I mean? For a minute.
Or like if you're going to compare like the profession, like Joe Buck, people hate Joe Buck.
Absolutely.
And he's unbelievable
Right.
at his
really,
job.
Yeah. Really, they just hate him because they've gotten to know him so long. Like
you're tired of him.
You feel
you saw it happen to Tony Romo.
Yeah, you just start picking people apart. Right. Ernie Johnson, it's rare but Ernie brings up examples on how it does. Like they've put him in the baseball booth. They put him in a baseball studio. That's where his dad started. Like his dad's a famous. He was a baseball player and then went into broadcasting. And he would just take Ernie with him to the ballpark. And actually, Harry Carey's son, Skip Carey, told Ernie, he was like, bro, you got a great voice. You might want to think about this. And he was like, yeah. I mean, like all that stuff you learn during this interview. But he also talks about what it's like to keep the plates in the air every night with Charles Barkley, Kenny Smith, and Shaquille O'Neal.
Shaq in there.
Right? I mean, like, imagine. And you talk about, like, Le Batard starts breaking down the personality. Shaq's very sensitive. Ernie tells a story one day, like Shaq shows up late for the show and like gets on the show and like gives an excuse. He's like, well, the traffic and I did. And like, we went to a break and I looked at Shaq and I said, I didn't like, or he said, Shaq looked at him and he said, what's wrong? He said, you look like you're mad. And he said, I didn't like that. He said, that wasn't, he was like, essentially he was like, that wasn't cool. He was like, you got to be here on time. And if you're not on time, they don't care about your excuses.
Damn.
And Shaq, like, he's like the rest of the show,
moping.
We had to like call on him. We had to like ask him his thing. And like the next day he came in and he was 2 hours early, but he just sat there kind of like to prove a point.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, I had to tell him, like, hey, man, it's all love. Like, I'm coming to you from a place of love, respect, and I need you to know that we got to have you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, this thing doesn't exist without you.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, like, after that, that was kind of a crossover for us. I mean, it was kind of like I recognized his weakness. I didn't call him out on it. I kind of supported him on it, and we were better for it. And Levitard's like, you see? That's why you're great at your job. He's like, people wouldn't understand why Shaquille O'Neal is sensitive and you be such a good person.
Yeah.
So a lot of people would just like behind the Shaq's back be like, fucking Shaq. Gotta deal with these guys. Diva all day, man. I mean, like, he was late, like, I mean, what doesn't he get? Like, rather than being like, yo, big fella.
Yeah.
It's all good. Like, don't worry about that.
Right.
But just know, like, I expect it. Like, you're part of the team.
I want
man.
you
We
to
gotta
be here.
have you.
Yeah.
And like since then, like, it's been, kind of a, it was just more of the relationship building. Chris Blair does that in a setting that we don't recognize, right? I mean, there's a lot of non-vocal communication in a 3-man booth. In a 3-person booth, it's a lot of eye contact. It's a lot of raising the eyebrows. It's a lot of pointing. It's a lot of you know what I mean? I mean, it's a lot of this that you got to kind of keep the thing rolling. You got to keep it directed. And Buzzy wants to talk, and Doug wants to talk.
And Buzzy and
they
Doug
both
want to talk to
crack
each
a
other.
joke at each other, and they both want to laugh at each other. And they both do it.
Yeah.
Like, they don't step on each other. They're able to do it, and Blair's able to tell you 3-2. Here's the strike. You know what I mean? Like, all of it.
It's high comedy.
And you're like, man, if you don't understand how, like, Blair's got to feel like he's worked out.
Yeah.
After the game, like, you're so tight and tense for 3 hours.
Oh my God, I can't
You know what I
imagine.
mean?
Yeah.
Like, and you're not necessarily tense and tight like Ernie says. Like, you're not tense like of what they're going to say because by this time they understand
the rules.
I mean, what you can and you can't say. It's just about the timing of it, right? Like, I mean, if I've got a call on Shaq, that's not the way the show goes. Like, Shaq, what do you think? That's not our show.
Yeah.
Like, Shaq just tells you what he thinks.
Yeah.
After Charles just tells you what he thinks. Chris Blair allows Doug just to tell you what he thinks. He allows Buzzy to tell you what he thinks. He lets Doug get a one-liner in. You know what I mean? He lets, Buzzy take a shot at Doug.
Yeah.
And then, like, kind of...
And the stretch of the line.
And Chris, like, in his delivery, will be like, 3-2.
Yeah.
He's kind of, like, laughing at him.
Yeah.
I mean, which is a very, very difficult thing to do
Yeah, it is.
personally, and then make it kosher for an audience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, have it people out there being like, I understand what they're talking about. I'm not even looking at what they're saying, and I am seeing what they're saying. You know what I mean? Like, they're painting this picture for me where I see it vividly. And Chris Blair has found his, by no means, a long time ago, on the but calling LSU's all 3 sports, he's got his identity.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I mean, he's been long well-versed on broadcast and, been a stud at what he does. But for calling LSU's 3 major sports, he has created an identity for what the broadcast is. He created a brand. I mean, the LSU baseball broadcast brand is different than the LSU football broadcast. The LSU football broadcast is polarizingly different than what the basketball brand and radio call is. And I would say that is a very, very high compliment because in all 3 instances, you're working with a totally different group. So, I mean, in some circumstances, he's in football season working with Doug Morrow and Gordy Rush and Jacob Hester and Hunt Palmer and the whole crew. And then he's also in basketball working with John Brady. So, I mean, he might be at a basketball game on a Thursday night, calling a football game on a Saturday, back in the PMAC on a Monday, and the whole time you're thinking, I got to change my personality, not my personality, but the way that I call the game to fit my broadcast partner. That's difficult. That's hard to do, man. And for what Blair does on the baseball call, especially like a weekend like this, I mean, some instances it's just him and Franquez. Sometimes it's just him and Doug. Sometimes it's just him and Buzzy. But when you get a booth like you have this weekend, and I'd imagine that you probably have this for the rest of the way out.
Oh,
I mean, this is the A-team, right?
Right.
I mean, this is your this is your golden
They want to
boy
be, and they
squad,
want, yeah,
right?
they
Absolutely.
want to be there.
Absolutely. Well, it's a great broadcast.
Right.
I mean, they're great storytellers. They have now come to find their rhythm. You know, I mean, like they all three have a rhythm where they can work alongside one another.
It's harmonious.
And to find that, I mean, I still remember Doug Thompson calling me early in his radio broadcast, and not just me, just people that were in the industry. And, you know, Doug's a perfectionist. Doug's a, you know, I mean, he's an alpha. He's an A personality. I mean, he's a guy that doesn't take failing very well. And to see him kind of find his sea legs in broadcasting, you know, was, as a friend, difficult to stand by and watch, because you knew, man, this is eating him up, right? Like, he's reading all the message boards, he's listening to what people tell him in public, he's hearing what people are saying in the aisles of the box. And, you know, I mean, I wonder how much he really thought he would make it to this point where, if you listen to him now, he is so confident and so sure of what he's saying and the timing and the broadcast, you know, really kind of parameters that he works within. It's a great broadcast, man. I can't say enough how enjoyable the LSU Sports Radio Network makes the product on radio. It's tough to do that. You know, I mean, it's hard to, especially in 2023, when there's so many other ways to get it. You know, I mean, I can go watch the YouTube of the in press box call if I wanted to. I mean, it's still kind of hard to get back to just the bare bone radio call of it. Like, press the dial. You know, just go get me to the number on the dial and let me listen to it.
Yeah, put your headphones in the stadium.
Right.
Which is, you know, that's a whole different level of fandom, I'd imagine. Whenever you get to that age where you're like, I'm listening to the game while watching the game.
Yeah.
It's like you could just watch it.
Right.
Be there, but that's how much they yearn for the information. And if you put out a product like they do, I don't blame people for wanting to listen to their call while they watch the game, because it is that good. And it's more my style in terms of what they're doing with the LSU baseball, because it's fun. They keep it light.
They do.
And for, like, I've known Doug for a short time, but to see, like Jordy says, if I didn't know if he ever, like, I've only known him being good at it. Like, every as long as I've listened to him, he's been great. But to see him and get to know him outside of just radio or television, it feels like he just became himself if he was ever struggling with anything, because Doug is awesome. And it kind of is coming through in the booth of, oh, I just have to be me.
Yeah.
And I don't have to worry about what other people think of me, whatever, because I have my own personality that people like me. So why would I not just bring that to the booth,
I mean, when
instead
you go
of
up in
trying
the booth
to
now, like, he's got his hat on backwards.
He's got Oakleys
like,
on.
He's got hands on the knees.
Oh, yeah, he's a step away from bringing a glove in
he's
there.
Doug Thompson.
Yes.
I mean, like, he's Dougie.
Yeah.
Like, he's
So
the
fun.
dude, right? I mean, like, he's the guy. So, I mean, and that's what you want him to be. I mean, you want him on the air taking shots at Buzzy. You know what I mean?
Be
You want
yourself.
Buzzy, you know, laughing at Doug. I mean, it's just it's a great broadcast. You know, I would encourage you that if you're not going to the game and you're watching it, you know, I mean, kind of turn the sound down on your television and listen to their call, because, I mean, it is very informational from an LSU fan standpoint. There's great historical reference with those two. They tell, you know, I mean, I think that there was an instance that came up that history, you know, something played out, and the last time it had happened was with, I believe, one of Buzzy's teams, and, you know, he was able to provide firsthand, you know, point of a reference of that time in LSU baseball.
Well, yeah, they were making fun of him. And he's like, I don't know, Buzzy, if you remember. He's like, I was on the team.
Right.
I was like, I don't know if you know this, but I was there.
Right.
And I hit the last home run in Alex Fox.
So LSU and Oregon State today, 1 o'clock on
Maybe.
the call, 12:30 for your pregame. Right. I mean, that's
Let's
the
just
most
play right
frustrating
now.
part.
Yeah. It's fine.
But as Caparato said, pack your patience, because it might be difficult. Game 2 of the NBA Finals last night, 111-108. The Miami Heat roll into Denver and do what they're supposed to do, right? I mean, I think if you're the road team in any series, best case scenario is you split, right? I mean, or at least that's what you're thinking. I mean, if you can go there and take 2, obviously that would be,
especially after
you know,
the way
tremendous.
Game 1 looked.
But the way that Game 1 looked, and the way that Denver, you know, really owned that game after a 7-game series for Miami, a quick turnaround. Again, this is more. You know, I want to make sure that all the players get, you know, the credit, but Eric Spoelstra is
Best coach in the league?
If he's not the best coach in the league, he's top 3 because of – look, I know he cut the question off last night from Ramona Shelburne, who covers the NBA and does a great job, but she asked him directly on, if you turned Jokic into a scorer, if that kind of limits him. And his numbers last night, he had 41 points, but he only had 4 assists, right? And if you watch game 1, he didn't take a shot until I believe 3 minutes left in the first half, and it was a layup. And he had 8 assists up to that point, and the game was looking very easy. Denver was scoring. Denver was making open shots. He was kind of controlling the entire game. And it's one thing to say, and Jokic, in my opinion, right now is the best player on the planet.
He is.
I think he is the best player
agree.
in the world right now. And for you to say that we're just going to turn him into a scorer, it's very difficult to allow him to get 40 and still win, and allow him not to affect the game in the ways that he does. Took 28 shots last night. He was 16 of 28. He's 2 of 5 from behind the 3-point line. Like I said, he had 41, and they lost. Right? Like, I know Spoelstra shut down the post-game question about it, and I think he just doesn't want to give them any type of bulletin board material, and he doesn't want Jokic flying halfway across the country pissed off at him. So, Spoelstra showed him a tremendous amount of respect, which he deserves, but he wasn't touching that question as far as trying to give up the game plan of what they're doing to the best player in the world. And look, it's a make-miss league. You still got to make shots, and Denver missed shots down the stretch on ones that they usually miss. I thought Jamal Murray's shot at the end. That's a good shot. I mean, that's
unreal. They had an opportunity to even be in that position. It shows
Really?
you how good the Nuggets are.
He's
very
so
much
good.
so.
Jamal Murray's amazing.
So this is buckle up. You're in a series now. Right? As soon as the road team wins a game, right? Isn't that the saying?
Mm-hmm.
Now we got a series on our hand. And the NBA Finals is a match of, some of the best players in the world, obviously. But, man, watching Eric Spoelstra get ready for a game, have a plan for a game, and then watching him, execute that plan during the game with his guys out there playing. His guys got to make the plays. He is –
Gabe Vincent's been awesome the first 2 games. Obviously, who was it that was like the story before Gabe Vincent?
Caleb Martin.
Caleb Martin was obviously, you could see, was huge in Game 7, like wanted the rock from Jimmy Butler, kind of took the game over. But nobody's been talking about Gabe Vincent at all, and I think he had back-to-back games with 20-plus, which is a testament to what the Heat are doing. Like, you saw they ran Cody Zeller out there in Game 1, and I was like, I didn't even know he was in the league.
I mean,
he looks like he shouldn't be, but then you have Kevin Love come in.
But think about that. How many times have we seen players on teams throughout, at least my following the NBA, where you look up and you're like, wow, that guy's with Phil Jackson
Jeff
in the
Green.
Bulls.
Yeah.
That guy's with Greg Popovich in the Spurs. That guy's, with Eric Spoelstra in the Heat. You're like, these coaches find roles where you're able to get these guys and get the best out of them. And I think that, you got to be able to coach Michael Jordan. You got to be able to coach LeBron James like Spoelstra did. You got to be able to coach some of these high-end players. But I think what makes the best coaches, the great coaches, fantastic and in that category is being able to coach the 7th, 8th, 9th, 12th guy on the team.
And being able to trust
right?
him.
Like, I mean, if you watch The Last Dance, the thing that stands out to me is the relationship that guys like the role players on the Bulls, Steve Kerr, Horace Grant, the way that those guys talk about Phil Jackson and what they did. Dennis Rodman. I mean, obviously Rodman was an all-star and a superstar, but at the time of his career when Phil Jackson got him, he was untouchable. Scotty Burrell, right? I mean, guys like that came along and became role players that Steve Kerr or that Phil Jackson made a just tremendous impact, an incredible impact on. If you look up on that first Lakers championship that Shaq and Kobe won in 2000, Ron Harper's a shooting guard, Horace Grant's the power forward. All these guys that they've won with are still coming back with them and, finding roles on teams with Jackson and winning later in their career. I think Spoelstra is that type of dude, man, where, you look back in history and see he's done it all. He's coached the superstars. He's coached the mid-level guys. He's coached the first-tier all-star guys, and he's gotten quality output from all of it, and he's won with all of it.
And he survived it all, which seemed to be the first test, because it's a testament to what I guess Pat Riley had having the vision to bring him in, because that was a massive undertaking whenever they brought Spoelstra in. Wasn't his first job with the Big Three? Like, that was his first year as the head coach, was it not?
Yeah.
And then everybody was like, can he handle this? Should they not bring in a, whatever coach? Like, bring in top tier, somebody that can handle the personalities, what have you. But for Spo to be able to get through that and now find his footing and whether it be a superstar or a team like with, I guess, Jimmy Butler is their best player, to be able to bring a team like that to the NBA Finals, he's done it consistently. And to have the roster construction that they have, and for him to have the pulse of the team the way that he does, to know to put into Duncan Robinson or a Kevin Love, he just knows his team so well, and it's a testament to those guys for staying ready. Like, you don't know when your name's going to be called or when your number's going to be called, because that's the way the team's constructed. They're 10 deep, and it could be anybody. But whenever you get in the game, I expect you to do something, because I know what you can do, and that's why you're in. Like, Kevin Love to come in and be able to grab 10 rebounds and try to bangle Jokic. You just handle him. And then you give up 40, that's fine, as long as he doesn't get 15 assists. And you keep those other players out the game. It seems to be that's their formula. And with Spo, it might change in Game 3. They might do something else, because he's always shuffling the deck to try to figure out what's the best way for us to win with the players that I have, especially that now going home, you'll probably see a Caleb Martin. You'll probably see, some of the role, like Strus go off. And that's what you want, essentially, is to be able to get guys, the role players. I mean, it's not old news, or it's not breaking news. It's whenever you get back home, they always play a little bit better in a more comfortable environment.
So Game 3 of the NBA Finals will be Tuesday night?
Wednesday night? 7:30, yeah.
Yeah, because of the travel. So 1-1 is the series now. Another announcement over the weekend that is going to be must-watch television is going to be Netflix announced a new documentary that's going to be highlighting Urban Meyer's championship teams with the Florida Gators. It's called Swamp Kings, which will follow the Gators 2006 through 2009 teams, and it will premiere on August 23rd, just right before football season. Look, Florida in that time frame had some interesting storylines, right? They won the national championship a couple of times. They also had a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback named Tim Tebow, who took over and had one of the most successful college football careers in history. He won the Heisman in 2007. They won a national championship in 2008. They also had guys on that roster like Riley Cooper, who was an open racist who got called out for it in the NFL with the Philadelphia Eagles. Reggie Nelson was on that team, who has been subpoenaed and has been in interviews because he was supposedly and allegedly the driver of a car that Aaron Hernandez was hanging out of, firing shots at once they left a club, that supposedly shot someone in the face, did not kill them, but could have. And Aaron Hernandez as well was on that team, who went on to become a convicted murderer and was scheduled to spend the rest of his life in jail before he committed suicide. Look, it also features Urban Meyer, who could be one of the slimiest, one of the grimiest in a trade and an industry filled with shady cats.
Herb's got his hands full.
Urban Meyer is in a corner by himself. When you talk about guys that have been around football the last 20 years and some of the individuals that will raise your eyebrows. So it'll be interesting to see where Urban fits in all of this storyline and timeline.
This is in the Untold series. This is part of Untold.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
oh, is it? How did?
Yeah.
Netflix paid. Netflix went to Florida.
That's what I was about to ask
and
you.
Said, "How much footage do y'all have? 06, 09
that you've yet to burn?"
And somebody said, "We've got a closet full of it.
Yeah, a lot of things.
We've got a lot of stuff that we don't want to show." And Netflix said, "Well,
we want to show it.
How much will it take for y'all to show it?" and whatever price tag they put on it, Netflix obviously cut the check with probably a little bit of extra cushion on there, so they can run this story how they want to tell it. But that's where the footage is coming from. I mean,
wonder if they're gonna have like Tebow like sit down.
You would think. I mean, you would.
They would have to.
Percy
Carlos
Harvin,
Dunlap,
The Pouncey brothers.
the Pouncey brothers were
What
on
did he
that
do?
team. Brandon Spikes was on that team.
What did Carlos do? He fell asleep behind the wheel, like drunk and fell asleep.
Who's that?
Carlos Dunlap.
Carlos Dunlap.
That happened then
was
too.
on
The
that. Was on
2009
that.
championship.
Was on that team.
I mean,
of
Reggie
fellas
Nelson
on that
killed a
team.
man in the 2009 championship. and
Reggie
didn't-
Nelson?
didn't get in trouble for
They
it.
got a
Reggie
lot
Nelson.
going on.
He
Killed that Oklahoma receiver.
he killed Brandon LaFell.
Yeah, oh my God.
He lit Brandon LaFell up on the sideline.
Didn't Chris Leak get in trouble for something too?
I don't think so. Leak was 06. That was his senior year because that was Tebow's freshman year.
Right.
But
That's
was
the
it-
jump pass. Yeah, he got
Wait, that
Chris
was
Leak
Cam's
alleged.
freshman year?
Cam was a freshman in 09, right?
Yeah,
Oh
Cam
my
was
gosh.
no. He wasn't a freshman in 09 because he was at Auburn in 10.
So he would have been.
He was
So
a
freshman in 08.
He was a freshman in
Wait.
08.
So he's a red shirt freshman.
Because he was a redshirt freshman when he got thrown off the team, and he went to was
Through a-
it Glenn Community College for 2 years.
Yep.
Won the Natty.
Freestyle.
Went to Auburn. The freestyle in the pregame. was
The
a
The
six.
epic.
freestyle is the
It was
best.
a
Like,
six.
Toying with you fellas.
yeah.
He went to Auburn.
Won the
and
Heisman.
Toyed with the SEC.
Jesus.
But he played some for Florida. You could see like they were kind of giving him the Tebow package while
Right.
Tebow was the starter. You're like, they have another one like this, like
Better.
But he's bigger.
Yeah,
Better.
And it was the time to hate Florida because it didn't seem like it would ever stop. And
And then it did.
Now
And
you-
Nick took over.
you have to think that yes, it's a problem
Right?
also.
Right after that,
Nick.
09.
And now Brian Kelly is next in line. But if you're anybody that's going to come out a little bit nervous about this documentary, it has to be Urban, right? He
Well,
probably
yeah.
wants nothing to do with everybody else is kind of out of there. He's the one that's still in the spotlight. He still has something to lose. Everybody else has kind of moved on.
I mean,
Or
I mean,
is he
Tim
that
might be
bulletproof?
nervous.
I'm
Because
not,
he
well, I
owned,
mean,
like
I'm not going to be surprised to find out that Urban's a scumbag.
right.
Right.
You know, I mean, like, so I don't think that Urban's going to be surprised for you to find out that he's
He's a
even more of a
scumbag.
scumbag than you thought he was. I
Yeah.
mean,
They're not
this is a
gonna
guy
let
that was
everything
he was covering up for a domestic abuser on his staff at Ohio State. I mean, he really did not realize like why it was a big deal. I mean, like there's a guy that came through LSU that was on that staff that talked about just like it was amazing. Like people were like, Urban, like this guy's not even good. Like he's not even that good of a coach. Like get
My friend.
What are you doing? Like get this guy out of here.
I don't know, coach. He was pretty good receiver. That was their receiver coach.
Yeah,
He
but he's
coached
not-
like Michael Thomas,
At Ohio
Olave.
State, he's not worth this.
I mean, yeah.
You
now
know
they
what I
got
mean?
Brian
Not we can
Hartline.
go get Brian Hartline.
Yeah, let's see.
I mean, they upgraded.
I think Brian Hartline was already on
He
the
was
staff.
the assistant on that
Yeah.
staff. But I mean,
And then he did. I mean, he
and
also
then
tried
Urban
to.
went and hired. And then he went and
hired a
Iowa's,
racist.
He went and hired Iowa's
strength
strength
coach
coach
who was openly
in
racist.
Jacksonville. I mean, it's.
We're gonna bring him in. He looks like he's a
Yeah,
good
it
guy.
fits my culture.
What are we going to find out about Urban on this documentary? You're like, wow, this guy's a piece of shit.
I don't
How is
think
he
we're gonna find
skated
out all
so
that.
much?
They got to
'Cause
keep
they win.
some things under wraps.
No, I'm talking about now. Like, why is he still able to be? Like,
I
he's
don't
like,
know.
He has enough money to pay people off. What do you mean?
but he goes back into the booth
fact
after
that, like,
everything that happened in
Fox
Jacksonville. They're like,
would
oh,
put
bring
him-
it back to high noon kickoff or whatever, and nobody bats an eye.
I mean,
That's because Tim's praying for him. In the
Yeah, that's true.
background.
Circumcised him.
Ugh, Jesus.
Well, he did. He flew down to like Honduras and circumcised some kids.
Wait.
Oh, he did?
Who did this?
Tim Tebow. He was like part of his mission. So he's
I don't know. I have a lot of
practice
questions.
circumciser.
I have a lot of
How-
questions
Look it
about
up.
He
Tim
did not
Tebow.
personally circumcise
Yes, he
anybody.
did.
He's
Look
not a
it-
doctor.
Look it up. I'm telling you. Well, it's a third world country.
Yeah, they
So
can
he just
Anybody
let
who
anybody
anybody
clip.
wants to get a snip, yeah.
grab that knife.
Yeah, you take it. I'm tired of doing this. It's like a
That kid,
device.
that kid has
see
skin
another-
everywhere.
Yeah, covered in foreskin today.
So sick of foreskin.
You know what? Keep it.
So what do they do with the foreskin after?
That's Mick Calamari.
Oh my god! Spot, you had that
See,
ready.
this
That
is
was
why I don't
too
eat
quick.
like certain
That
shit.
was
Like
too quick.
this is why I don't eat certain
Somebody
shit.
has asked you that question before.
Yeah, what do you do with foreskin?
Yeah, clearly.
What are we doing with this
You
thing?
had it ready to go.
I just think it whenever I eat calamari. I'm like, oh,
This is just
I wonder what this
is
is.
just a little bit of foreskin I got in my
the
mouth.
restaurant's right next to the hospital.
Foreskin.
Yeah. Dip it in
The other white meat.
Calabrian chili.
All right, everybody, have a good Monday.
Racist.
If you want to, get out to the box and dodge the
You
rain.
can bear the weather.
Dodge the rain. Make sure and pack your
Still
umbrella.
and sunny right now.
Pack it in and squeeze it in and keep it in.
That's right. 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
Let me know.
Let me know how it goes.
Yeah.
Keep it in.
Keep
Let
it
me
in.
know. All right, everybody, have a good day. Appreciate you being involved here. Hit that like button, share button, comment button. RMB Builders will be back with you tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Mic'd up. What's the deal?
Announcement will be coming soon. Stay locked into the Twitter. We'll see. Obviously, we want to go at 1 if the game is at 1, but we will. I feel like that's the plan for now. We'll do a little watch along. So tune into the
nice.
Mic'd Up. Subscribe. YouTube channel will be live. It might be a lot of fodder if the rain comes in, and you just might get entertained. So either way, you'll get some baseball knowledge, and hopefully you get to watch along with LSU closing out a regional and then a super regional to come in Baton Rouge. Stay tuned.
Talk to you tomorrow morning.
Spade and neuter your pet.